Our health specialist Leah Sarich joining us now for Body and Balance. A lot of us, of course, love the summer, love the sunshine, enjoy the heat. But for 1 million Canadians, the heat of summer severely affects their quality of life because they suffer from excessive sweating.
Yes, it's called hyperhidrosis.
Hyperhidrosis.
Yes, so it's excessive sweating. So these people are sweating about 4 times as much as the average person, right? So these are the people that are having to change their shirts numerous times a day. It becomes very obvious to everybody else that they've got huge sweat stains on their shirts and things like that. It's most commonly seen in the armpits and in the palms of the hands. So it's really quite obvious to everybody else. And you know, it severely affects the quality of life for these patients. So these are people who are making major life changes because of this condition. In fact, I spoke with dermatologist Dr. John Arlett about this, and he said he had one patient who actually moved to a cooler climate, decided to work in a bar at night so that he could wear dark clothing and it would be dark in there and it just wouldn't be as obvious. So people are really affected for their lives for sure.
No
Absolutely,
kidding.
yeah. So the big deal here is how do we treat this? So there are several treatment options. Dr. Arlett says there are a few that work okay. One of them is using aluminum salts or using some electronic options. But he says the thing that works the best is Botox.
Oh.
Yeah.
Botox works by inhibiting the nerve ending as it attaches to the muscle. So it inhibits the nerve impulse where it goes into the sweat gland that makes it sweat. So really, by treating that, we stop the reason why sweating is happening in the sweat gland. And it's so effectively, really people will have sweating stop usually 2 to 3 days afterwards. They're suddenly aware they're not sweating.
So what he's doing there is he's putting an iodine antiseptic right on the armpit.
Okay,
and then he puts a little bit of starch on it, as you're seeing right there.
Yeah.
So he can see exactly where the sweating is occurring. You can see the sweat start to come through that starch. He'll clean that area. And then what he does is he can see exactly where the sweat glands are.
Neat.
And that's where he's going to actually inject the Botox. So it's a very targeted approach. So then he'll do about 30 injection shots for each armpit. And then what'll happen is that they'll see a reduction in sweating by 80 to 90%. Yes, it's pretty incredible. So, and that'll last for about 8 months on average.
Oh, that long?
Yeah, so for some people it's, 3 or 4 months. For others it can be up to 2 years.
Well, that's
so
great.
This is a huge and very successful treatment option for sure. Yeah, it's pretty incredible. Now the question is this safe though? Because we do sweat for a reason, right? So yes, we do sweat for a reason. We sweat to reduce the body temperature. But I spoke with Dr. Arlett about this, and here's what he has to say.
Sweating is the body's way of controlling heat. We have so many ways of doing it because really sweating in the armpits does not control that much heat. Certainly with sweating on our face, our head, or our larger exposed areas, that's which is underneath the arms really happens more from a pheromone type of response because that's where we get a lot of the oils produced that produce some odor. So that's where really sweating comes. It's a holdover from really earlier times in evolution.
Pretty incredible. So so there's a few injections going on there. You can see this in each armpit. And the one thing that Dr. Arlett says, which I actually witnessed as I was watching this demonstration happen, is that for some people, they'll be a little bit sensitive on one side and then not so sensitive on the other.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it's kind of neat that way. So yeah, 30 injections, but then it's going to last for quite a while.
Oh, wow. That's good to hear. And anyone who has questions or information, the information is going to be on your
Absolutely, on my
blog.
You bet. Got a lot more information there for you.
Good stuff. Looking forward to that. And